Well, hello there, Everstrong family, and happy Saturday, October the 25th. I am overjoyed to once again be joining you this evening, and tonight we get to look at 1 Corinthians chapters 3 and 4. Now, regrettably, I was unable to do the video yesterday where we covered 3, but that's okay. Chapters 3 and 4 are actually rather cohesive, and it's no trouble at all to go ahead and go over them at the same time. So in chapter 3, Paul is still addressing the division within the church in Corinth at that time, which clearly was the argument of who people served beneath. Some people say I served under Apollos. Some people say I served under Paul. Now, the reason why is because Paul was the missionary. That's actually what he was. He was the missionary who brought the gospel message to that area. Versus Apollos, think of him more like the senior pastor. He was the one who was there, and he continued feeding the flock, who continued taking care of the people who attended the church. And Paul is saying, you're fixing your eyes on man, not heaven. We need to change that. He brings up a gorgeous parable where he refers to himself as the man who sowed or planted the seed versus the man who continues watering the seed of the field, which would be Apollos. And he says in verse 9, for we are both God's workers, and you are God's field. Essentially, he's just saying, stop focusing on the works of man and focus on the works of God. Ultimately, we serve God, not man. We are all workers in the field. It just depends on what you're doing, but ultimately the job is to serve God. He moves on further in chapter 4, verse 5, so don't make judgments about anyone ahead of time before the Lord returns, for he will bring our darkest secrets to light and will reveal our private motives. Then God will give to each one whatever praise is due. Ultimately, between chapters 3 and 4, Paul is trying to destroy this division in the church. Stop focusing on the works of man. You have nothing to boast about unless you're boasting about the relationship between yourself and God alone. And he does go on, I won't lie, it's actually kind of funny if you read it the way I did. Chapter 4, verses 10 through 13. He becomes a little facetious because he notices that the people of the church are starting to kind of make themselves out to be more than they really are. And he kind of puts them in their place. But that's actually, I've always found it kind of funny, because Paul is just trying to remember that you have nothing to boast about. Your works are all for naught, essentially, because it's not about the works you do. It's about how you are honoring God with your words, your thoughts, and your actions. So between chapters 3 and 4, and I apologize because I know it seems kind of scatterbrained today. I'm still kind of out of it a little bit. But ultimately, these two chapters are really beautiful because Paul is addressing that we cannot focus on the works of man or the men or women that we serve. Ultimately, we need to be fixing our eyes on heaven and heaven alone. So with that, I strongly advise you to go to God in prayer, ask him to reveal any hidden thoughts or things in your life, and just try and give those things up to God, because he's the one we should be focused